was a one-night stand.
Uncle Peter dropped me off.
Did Uncle Peter? The 15-Minute Morning Show podcast. We're here. Gandhi's not here, but we're here.
Yeah.
She'll be back tomorrow. But we do have Scotty B in the other room.
Hi.
We've got Scary, and we've got Garrett.
Yep.
Danielle's in the house.
Hello.
Who won't be here tomorrow.
I will not be here tomorrow because tomorrow's signing day for my son. I'll be doing the show from home via Zoom. Then I will leave at 7:30, go to signing day, and then hopefully be back for the end of the show.
And Nate is here. Are you here tomorrow?
I'm here.
I'm here too. So there you go. So what a day. Kesha.
Yeah.
You know, Kesha is one of those people, I find her fascinating because she is not afraid to say what's on her mind and what she's thinking about. She's cool.
Yeah.
Her new album's supposed to be pretty good, coming up May 19th. Very good. Supposed to be very good.
I'm excited to hear it because Garrett told me it has like this Stranger Things feel.
Well, yeah, Eat the Acid sounds like it could be on the new Stranger Things series, like that comes out. Like like Daniel, you'll listen to it and be like, oh, that's Stranger Things. But watching the interview, though, Nate, when you were telling the abduction story, you've told it a lot, and I don't know if Kesha really believed you.
No, I don't believe a lot of people believe me,
But-
to be honest with you. Listen, I know what happened to me. Other people that have been abducted know what happened to them. Maybe something traumatic happened and I wasn't abducted. I don't know. But I do know that I distinctly have that memory. Like, what's your earliest memory? That's one of my earliest memories.
Right.
Why do
I
you
have a
think
really
she
young
didn't
one when I
believe?
was
I don't know. Like just the way he sold it. Like it was almost like he oversold the fact. Like she's dealt with aliens before, and she's dealt with sitting down and reading people.
I have more experience with aliens than she does. No offense.
Oh.
I was
It's
abducted
on.
for crying out loud.
It's on. It's
I was
on.
abducted.
They're having the
Alien off.
alien off.
What were you going to say, Scotty?
I have a memory when I was in the crib. I don't know why, but I just remember my parents were out of the house. I was in my crib. My grandmother was watching me, and I dumped apple juice out of my little sippy cup thing onto the floor, and she got pissed.
Was it because an alien was trying to rear end you?
Yes.
Wait, is Gandhi's back? Well, I thought you left.
I was going to leave, and then my ride said that she's caught up for the next 15 minutes, so I figured I would.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. Yeah.
Well,
Hello.
we're talking about Kesha and aliens, and
Earliest memories.
Scotty remembers spilling his apple juice in his cradle
I don't think-
because an alien was entering him from behind.
I don't
that what you
think
said?
you're
Yes,
able
yes.
to remember when you're that young. I think,
You are.
Really?
Yeah, you are. I have memories of when we went on a trip to a lake, and I saw pictures of me with my dad later. And I have, for a fact, I remember that.
And how old were you?
Like 1.
You remember
Wow.
from being 1?
I do, because I remember that we were in another picture that I didn't see with my brothers in it. I said, hey, didn't we take a picture with my brothers as well? My dad said, yeah, but you were way too young. You don't remember that. And they never found that picture.
Wow.
But I remember taking the picture with them.
Mine's 4 years old. I was painting the Epcot ball because maybe I just got back from Disney World for the first time. So
Don't they have painters down there to do that?
Well, yes, but I was in school. I was in preschool, and I remember being at the easel, and that's like the only earliest memory I can remember of painting that specifically. Ask me what I had for lunch. No idea.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
What's your earliest memory, Gandhi?
Oh, man. I don't know what the earliest would be. I feel like there's some stuff that would be confused, but I do remember I used to sit on my dad's chest when he would be like, reading a book or whatever, and I'd start to fall asleep, and then he would fall asleep, and I'd always think he was dead, and I would listen to his heartbeat. So I had to be old enough to know about dead people and heartbeats.
Yeah.
I don't know how old I was. But that's like my earliest.
2 years old. 2.
He used to fall asleep constantly, and I always thought he was dead in the middle of stories
That's so
and stuff.
weak.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what's going on here, but we have a flashing red light. That means the building's about to explode.
No.
So you're going to see it live right here on this podcast.
We could use that for clicks.
Okay, we're good.
You know what my earliest memory is? So stupid.
What?
My mom used to have this long wig because she used to wear falls back then. That's what they were called, I guess. The long wig that she would wear. And I remember wanting to be Cher as a little kid and wearing a Cher, that wig, and pretending I was Cher and walking around the house dressed like I was Cher. And then there was another time I was Elton John and I had big glasses and I pretended I was Elton John.
Oh, my God.
These are the early memories.
You and I pretended to be the same people when we were growing up.
They're strange.
Cher and Elton John.
So weird.
You and I have that bond.
I guess so.
You should do that when you get home. Ask your kids what their earliest memory is.
You yelling at me, Mom.
I think.
What about for you, Scare?
Well, you know what? I have the year. So I was born in 1974,
and it was New Year's Eve, 1977, because I remember the ball dropping for 1978. And I was at my grandma and my Aunt Millie and my great-grandma's house because my parents would go out partying for New Year's Eve. So I was there, and I remember them making pigs in blankets, and I remember these little, what do they call those little champagne poppers where you pull the string?
Yes.
Yep.
And
Champagne
I remember
poppers.
that. Yep. That and that. But it's crazy. I was 3 years old.
You know, I think it has to be a significant event because, you know, I tell my daughter Cooper, you know, we'll go to the park or something. I'll be like, you're not going to remember this freaking day. You know, I think it has to be something big, memorable in order to remember it, don't you think?
Not always. I have really random, mundane memories about things.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think maybe my earliest memory was sorting rice with my grandma. I don't know. I don't know how old I was.
Sorting rice?
Yeah, so she would always, you know, like she would want to make rice, but she would make us go through and pick out like if there were dark pieces or if there was something wrong with it. We would weed through the rice, and I just
Why?
remember helping her do that all the time because you don't want to eat that.
Why not?
Icky
Because
dark
it's
piece?
like there's rocks and
Yeah.
things in rice.
It's not good.
Did she write on it with a marker like those?
Anyway.
No, there's people that can write on a grain of rice. Ever been at a fair and like, well, write your name on a
Oh,
grain
yeah,
of
they
rice?
put it in a necklace. You wear it in a necklace.
These are the people I want to meet. I want to be friends with
So
these
my
people.
grandma did before she made the rice. She wrote on some pieces of it. Yes.
Shut up.
Scotty, man.
Wait, look on Scotty's chest.
What?
Is that Eric Estrada
Oh, yeah.
from Chips?
That's Punch.
His favorite.
It's an iron-on.
You're so strange.
You hear it?
Is that new?
No, I found it in my closet.
Wait, did you iron that on your shirt?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't think they do that anymore, do they?
Scary, you remember going to the iron-on store in the early 80s? You'd go and you'd flip through these books of all these iron-ons.
Iron-ons,
They
yeah.
The
still
Dukes of
have
Hazzard.
that down
They
the
would
Jersey
iron on-
Shore.
They
Yeah.
make the shirt for you.
Yeah, they still do it down
Ironically
the
enough,
shore.
that's Scary's earliest memory.
Yes. Oh, and Freezy Freakies.
I love
remember
those.
these little. They were gloves or mittens.
Yeah.
And they would turn colors in the cold, or they would put
When it would
like,
get, things would appear when it would
things
get cold.
appear when they were a certain temperature.
Like a picture.
Freezy Freakies.
I don't remember that.
And underoos.
Yeah.
Gunny, you should have snuck out when you
I
had a
was
chance.
4 years
I'm
old.
sorry.
Under ruse.
It's nice to hear everybody's first memory.
I
You
didn't
remember
pick the
Shrinky
What they
Dinks?
think they were.
I do. You can still
Shrinky
get
Dinks.
those.
I loved
And color forms. Remember color
Yeah.
forms?
Yeah.
Well, I remember spirographs,
Yes, those were great. And
And-
erector sets.
You did what?
erector sets.
I remember those from the Sandlot.
Yep.
They pulled
yeah,
out all
see?
their erector sets to get that ball
Yes.
back.
My Uncle Peter and helped me make manufacture something with an erector set. It was all metal and wheels and pulleys and things.
What were you erecting with Uncle Peter?
My Uncle Peter. Listen, my Uncle Peter was my favorite. He was my funkle growing up. He was the one that introduced me to the world of like CB radios and walkie-talkies and electronics. He took me on my first New York City subway ride. Oh my God. My mom would never let him live it down. He was watching me for the afternoon and he goes, "Come on, let's go for a ride." I must have been like 5 or 6 years old. He took me on a New York City subway. And that was the late 70s. So it was a little crazy. We went to the World Trade Center. He took me to the top of the World Trade Center. I went to a payphone and he goes, "I want you to say hi to your mom." "Mom, it's Anthony. I'm on top of the world." "What are you talking about?" "I'm on top of the world." Uh-oh. "Uncle Peter took me to the World Trade Center. I'm at the top." She started freaking out. I don't think they spoke for a couple of years after that.
So where's Uncle Peter now?
Uncle Peter is living in North Carolina, I think Fayetteville area.
Witness protection.
With my Aunt Geraldine. And yeah, they live in
you go.
North Carolina, Charlotte,
The
suburb of
Funkle.
It sounds like a Macaulay Culkin movie he just described, where he gets abducted by his uncle.
No, but like
Dangled
Uncle
off
Peter.
the World Trade Center.
Uncle Peter was the fun uncle, and he wanted to show. And this is the uncle I want to be to
Did
my
he ever have
nephews.
kids?
No, he
Okay,
didn't.
so you were his
Yeah.
supposed to be kid.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, he was the best. He still is.
He's
but I
still
haven't
alive,
seen him in a
probably.
while.
I remember my first Broadway experience. I went to see a chorus line. My grandma took us on the train from White Plains, where she lived, and we all took the train down to the city, and I got to see a chorus line. And I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. Like I was this little kid in this big world in New York City. It was just awesome. It was so much
Yeah,
fun.
New York City. Your first time in New York City. I remember when I was a kid, we used
Yeah.
to come here every year, and we stayed at the Plaza. We were here on Easter, and all of the doormen and like the guys who worked down in the lobby, they did an Easter egg hunt for me.
Did they have Easter bonnets on for the parade?
I
on
did not
Fifth
wear a
Avenue?
bonnet.
Remember that?
No, I did not wear a
No,
bonnet.
the
He didn't wear a
people
bonnet.
in the
They still do that.
parade, yeah.
They still have the Easter parade up and down Fifth Avenue People wear their crazy hats.
They make them themselves. Some of them are they're really intricate. It's crazy.
That childhood sounds like a Macaulay Culkin movie.
But I wasn't alone, so we're good. Huh.
What else?
So there you go. Your first memory.
Huh.
What about your first sex?
It wasn't good.
Not memorable
It's
at all.
usually not good.
No.
Oh, mine was mind-blowingly
Really?
fabulous. No, not at
I
all.
was gonna say.
Elvis, you're fantastic.
Thank you, Garrett, as you were as well.
I remember the address. It was on 8th Avenue.
Who's the hooker?
It was no. It was a one-night stand.
Uncle
I met
Peter
her-
dropped me off.
Did Uncle Peter take
Uncle
you to
Peter
your?
had nothing to do with
Did you
this
bring your
story.
erector set?
No.
I called my mother.
I wish I had
bar
mine.
called Automatic Slims in the Village, and I went up to her apartment, and then she puts on the soundtrack to the movie Train Spotting. And then
How romantic.
And the song Born Slippy was on.
Mama, I'm
And it
done
was
with
on
the
a
world.
CD.
Wait, who's
And-
Automatic Slims? What'd you say?
Automatic
bar.
Slims, a bar. It still exists.
Still there.
But I remember everything. And then the Train Spotting soundtrack. And I just remember all of this. And yeah, and I was on her floor, and it was a very hard floor.
Oh, my God.
Hardwood floor.
Okay, now we're getting a little cray-cray.
Have you ever
over
tried
here.
to look her up and find her?
No, I don't even know her name.
She was a prostitute.
She's not a prostitute.
I'm sure Uncle Peter knows
Do you
more.
know for a fact she's not a prostitute?
Not
She
anymore.
lived in that.
Without shadow of a doubt.
She lived in that
Did
apartment.
you pay for
Prostitutes
it?
have homes?
And she was older than me.
She's
you
probably
pay
she's
for it?
probably a
There you go.
prostitute
Did you pay
now.
for it? Did you leave money on the
No,
nightstand?
no.
Uncle Peter
She
paid for it.
wasn't a prostitute.
Isn't that the one your mom set up? Didn't I remember that story?
No.
Your mom set up your first sex date?
No. What? No. None of this. And Uncle Peter was not there either.
That you know of.
Oh my
Scary's
God.
going to get a call today. Anthony, I did not set up your sex.
I have an Uncle
Are we
Peter.
done? Can we be done?
Yeah, we're done. Hey, so have a conversation with your family and friends about your first memories. Bye.